stop looking in from the outside. You're going to want to sit down because this is going to be a little bit stronger than what you're used to, but it needs to be said because you cannot waste your potential. You cannot waste your life. You need to get back on track and do exactly what God has called you to do. If you don't know who I am, my name is Andrew. I'm an evangelist here in Toronto, Canada. And I care about one thing: revival in my generation. In Jesus' name. When are you going to fully go in for God? Because you can't be half in with God and half in with the world. You can't want to serve God, but live life just like everybody else. There needs to be a clear separation, a clear break, a clear distinction if you are God's child, if you are not. You can't live life on the fence of things. You can't live life playing it safe. You can't live life wavering between two opinions. You need to pick a side because you have too much to offer. You have too much potential. You have so many gifts that God instilled on the inside of you that still need to be released. Your generation is fully waiting for you to commit to them. So what is it going to be? You know, this was the issue that the prophet Elijah had in 1 Kings chapter 18. And this is what we call the great showdown on Mount Carmel. Elijah was ticked off with the state of his nation. They were worshiping false gods. The prophets were cowering in the caves. That he gathered every single person that was there in the city. And he told this to the Israelites. When are you going to stop going back and forth between these two opinions? If Baal is God, then serve him. But if the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob is God, then you need to serve him. You need to pick a side. Otherwise, you're one of those people that's mentioned of in the book of Ezekiel that lays dormant in the valley of decision. There's not going to be a moment where you just have a random epiphany to serve God. There's not going to be a moment where you wake up and there's a glowing halo and you just hear this sound: revival, revival, revival. You're not going to have an audible voice yell at you to get into motion. That all comes from the decision that you're going to make at this very moment. And one of the last things that Jesus told us is, he says in Revelation chapter 3, he says to be hot or to be cold. If you are lukewarm, I will spit you out of my mouth. And that's the church age that we're in right now. We're in a lukewarm church age. Not a church that's actively engaging in sin, but a church that's contained enough that they look like everybody else. A church that believes in God, a church that has Christian values, a church that believes and they really want to worship him and they go out for him on Sunday, but through Monday to Saturday, you don't see much of a difference in their lives. They're living their life contained and lukewarm. But that's not how God called you to be. God called you to live a life fully sold out for him. God's called you to live a life fully on fire, fully out there, fully going and contending for what belongs to you. Fully going out and living in your purpose, fully going out and living in your calling, fully going out and bringing in the harvest for this final hour of time. But you need to get out of the valley of decision and stop looking in from the outside. Stop being a closet Christian and be somebody that the world will look at and know about the God that they serve. Stop wavering between the two opinions. You need to pick a side because you can't be in bed with the world while you're married to God. You have been born for such a time as this. God has raised you. God foreknew that in this hour, in the sovereignty of time, he chose you because he knew that you're the best person for the job. He knew the things that he's created you to do, and you are going to make impact. You are going to win souls. And together, we're going to give the devil the worst beating he's ever had, from now until Jesus comes. So pick the side of holiness. Pick the side of righteousness. Pick the side of going fully in for God and watch what he is going to do with your life. Send this friend to fire them up. And if you care about revival, I want you to hit that subscribe button and I'll see you in the next video.